Concord is a bigger, colossal disappointment than we have even realized. We haven't had the PlayStation numbers yet, but we've seen on Steam that this game has crashed and burned at launch. In fact, if we go to Concord right now and see who's actively playing the game, we can see that there's not even 100 people in game right now, just like the other day. This is outrageous. Imagine having this game be hyped up as some kind of like new IP by PlayStation. They chose this over a multiplayer Spider-Man. Let that sink in. There's only 95 people playing this game as we speak. In the last 24 hours, the peak was 148, and the all-time peak was 8 days ago at 697. They still haven't even had 1,000 people play this game on Steam concurrently. Either way, I don't give a shit. And apparently nobody else gives a shit. Nobody wants this. Who in this day and age wants a Overwatch clone full of DEI? More DEI than what Overwatch already had. This game doesn't look fun. This game is way out of its league in an oversaturated market of this genre. Not to mention, it's $40 when this game should be free to play. Now, this studio is probably going to be shut down, but they might try to do a free to play pivot before that happens. Now, we don't have PlayStation numbers. We just have this, but it was revealed on PSN trophies that the takedown, like the basic trophy that you can get, which is shoot and eliminate your first opponent. So if you're playing this game, you're bound to get this trophy. You can see there's only been 1,220 people total to have achieved the basic concept of killing your opponent, having your first elimination. So that should tell you a ballpark, more or less, of how many people have this game on PlayStation. 1,220. That is ridiculous. And I think it's further proof that people don't want woke bullshit. I know some of the wokies are going to be like, no, they just don't want a game that plays like Overwatch at $40 price point. That might be a fair argument, but let's be real. You're looking at pronouns with robots. You're looking at the big fat fupa lady that you can't even tell if they're male or female. You're looking at all these characters. This literally screams DEI. Companies are more focused on making games that cater to this modern audience that just does not exist. They don't turn out, guys. Literally, this is proof right here when you look at the PlayStation stats for the first trophy that you can get by eliminating your first opponent, and then you look at the Steam database where there hasn't even been 100 people playing in the last 24 hours. Not even 1,000 people total. And you're going to tell me that this is made for an audience, a modern audience that is the majority. If you think that the audience that they're catering for to get ESG points and diversity clout is a thing, let me go ahead and sell you a oceanfront property in Arizona, because it doesn't exist. They never turn out. And this game looks like it sucks anyway. Take all the woke complaining, it just looks like it's not fun. People want video games that are fun. People want video games that entertain them and keep them, engaged for a quite period of time. But your open beta and your early access of Concord had twice, 3 times, even 4 times the amount of people that are out now that the game is officially launched. There's something not right here. There's something definitely not right. Now, I'm going to look at an article from Push Square that's talking about this, saying that the PS5 PC sales estimates are somehow even worse than they thought. And it's an unbelievable 25,000 copies, which is weird because if you think about it, if 25,000 copies of this are sold, 25,000 people haven't played this game. Where do those numbers add up? I don't think that makes sense, but you could see it says it doesn't take a genius to realize that Concord has bombed. Sony's PS5 and PC hero shooter has, by all accounts, seriously struggled to attract players. At this point, it's common knowledge that the title almost immediately crashed and burned on Steam, where its frankly dismal user numbers are publicly available. It took just days for the game's concurrent player count to drop into double-digit figures. At the time of this writing, it sits at a borderline unbelievable 64 players, which right now, as of right now, 95. Hey, that's good for them, right? That is absolutely good for them. Now, this continues to say, the general consensus is that Concord will have sold better on Sony's system, where marketing has been more aggressive. But with the Steam numbers being so damningly low, it's difficult to imagine the title doing that much better on console. So the analysts have started weighing in, and the picture that they're painting is somehow even more disastrous than we anticipated. For starters, industry veteran Matt Piscatella says that on Monday, August 26, Concord arrived 147th ranked for daily active players on PS5. So 147 ranked on its launch day. That is fucking terrible, guys. So 0.2% of all PS5 users just 3 days after the game's full release. that equates to that. Now, it says that analyst Simon Carlis recently published a report on Concord through the Game Discover Code newsletter, which attempts to break down trends on how games are discovered and why they end up sound like they do. Through the analysis of available data, Carlis estimates that Concord has sold around 25,000 copies in total, so that's roughly 15,000 on PS5 and 10,000 on PC. If accurate, that's beyond abysmal. Yeah, that's not going to keep a studio alive, ladies and gentlemen. And even then, I think those numbers are being nice. Because, again, 1,220 people managed to get a first elimination on Concord. Are you telling me that 14,000 other people haven't gotten that trophy? Are we supposed to believe that? No, this game is dead on arrival. It probably won't even reach a season 2. It's probably going to go free to play, or it's going to become a PlayStation Plus monthly title really quickly after a bunch of people refuse to play it. I would say a bunch of people wasted their money, but it doesn't even have 1,000 people playing this. Now, think of all the years that this took to make. Supposedly, this game was 8 years in production. Wow. What a waste of time. If I worked at this studio, I would already be looking for a brand new job. Imagine a studio spending 8 years of development on a game that just flounders and fizzles, and nobody will ever remember it. That's Concord. That's terrible. And this game took a lot of money. Sony invested a lot of money, and I've been seeing the shilling. I've been seeing on Twitter, there's a lot of tweets promoting this game as some kind of fun shooting game to play, and everybody's just roasting it. If you go onto Twitter, everybody's just tearing it apart because we don't want this crap. You know, this game is not enough. And you think of everything else that comes with it, all the baggage, it's crap. I don't think there's any way of saving this game, to be completely honest. Even if it goes free to play, I think that's it. I think that's all she wrote. I think it's only a matter of time before we see a screenshot on Twitter where they announce, hey guys, thank you so much for being part of the Concord community. It was fun while it lasted, but unfortunately we have to shut down support and they're going to close the servers, and that's it. Anybody that spent money on this game going to go into the cloud and never be worth anything ever again. Live service gaming could be both a blessing and a curse. There's plenty of great live service gaming. I like Fortnite. I'm going to be honest. I like Fortnite. But at least that has variety. At least that's fun. At least there's different game modes. At least it's, entertaining. It's not this weird... Concord just looks devoid of any kind of substance, any kind of soul, any kind of life. And then you have all the bullshit, like the way that the characters look and the diversity between them and the robot with pronouns. And I don't know. I think stuff like that turns people away. It might not seem like a big deal to some people, especially wokies, but I think a lot of the majority of gamers that get attacked by all these weirdos that cosplay as journalists and video game developers. They're really political activists that don't show up for whatever they're preaching, but they want to force us to have entertainment with their woke ideologies in it. I think the huge majority of casual people don't want this bullshit in their games, and it's speaking volumes when you look at the stats. When you look at the rumored PlayStation player count, it speaks tons of volumes. And that's why people like me grift and make these videos calling out this stuff, because it's important to have a dialogue about this. So what are you guys' thoughts on this possible expose of PlayStation stats for Concord? This is bad. Subscribe if you're brand new. Thank you for watching.